Have you ever wondered what's the meaning of life? Or the meaning of pain and suffering? Sometimes I ask myself that, especially on certain nights when you're so tired but you can't sleep, and all the things you thought you moved on from start coming back. Sometimes some memories just visit you unannounced. That street you used to live on, that shirt you used to like a lot, that first day of school, wondering who to sit with at the cafeteria, the time you moved out of your parents' place to start your new life, that friend you used to see every day but somehow lost along the way, and the person once you were so close with, and at some point you swear you would love him or her forever, and the moment you realized they're gone for good. These memories, they come and go, and they linger, like ghosts of who we used to be and the life we used to live. And it makes you wonder, how are we supposed to live this short life with all of this? Through happiness, through loss, through loneliness, and through pain. Hi, hope you guys are having a good day. So for this video, I want to try to bring some clarity to, the big question about life. I think this is something we all go through and think about at some point in our lives, even though we don't always talk about it. And I want to introduce a book that really inspired me recently. It's called Man's Search for Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. He was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps for years, including Auschwitz, in the most unimaginable conditions. And from that, Frankl made it out of the camps and told the stories and what he learned. Man's Search for Meaning has sold over 60 million copies worldwide, translated into dozens of languages, and is often listed as one of the most influential books of all time. And I have to say, it's also changed my perspective on life and meaning entirely. And I promise you, if you're also feeling down, lost, or don't really know what you're working towards anymore, this video is for you. And I would like to share 5 key lessons from this book that I hold dear to my heart. Number 1, meaning is the strongest human drive. So when Frankl was sent to Auschwitz, he started noticing something that didn't quite make sense. People were getting beaten up, starved, and killed almost every single day. But the ones who tend to survive weren't necessarily the strongest or the healthiest or the ones who get the most food. In fact, sometimes it was the frailest, the ones you would least expect, who made it through. And he began to wonder why. And what he realized was that the ones who endured had something inside of them that kept them alive. A reason to keep going. One man clung to the hope of seeing his child again. Another wanted to help rebuild the world when all of this is over. Frankl himself, he imagined one day standing in the classroom, lecturing about what he has learned from all this experience. That small thread of purpose, that belief that this pain is meant something, became his lifeline. This became one of the Frankl's greatest realizations, that human beings aren't driven primarily by pleasure, like what Freud said, that our ultimate goal is happiness. And it's also not by power or status, like Adler said, but by meaning. We need to believe that our life stands for something, that our suffering has value. And that's the power of meaning. And if we zoom out psychologically, this explains a lot of what people are going through these days, where everyone is maximizing for comfort, happiness, and convenience. And we have more of that than ever, but less purpose. And what Frankl is pointing to us is that when you stop asking, how do I avoid pain, and start asking, what's worth suffering for, the suffering stops feeling meaningless. It becomes something you're willing to carry. And that's what gives life's depth. Not by the absence of pain, but the presence of purpose. Hello! Before we continue, if you've been following me and watching my video for a while, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Like, really, you're the reason why I keep creating. And so, now that we're at 60k subs, I've been thinking a lot about how to connect with you guys better. Like, I want to get to know you guys more. Like, what you care about, what you're going through, what you're struggling with, all that kind of stuff, so that I can make content that truly resonate with you. And so, I created a group on Discord. It's completely free. You can think of it as a safe little corner on the internet where you get to meet like-minded people, share your stories, grow together, and feel a little less alone in this very loud, messy world. And I have a couple interesting channels here that I want to show you guys. Like this matcha maker channel where you can pitch a single friend or yourself, a more creative way to find love. Because I think a lot of you guys found me through the love video. And this ask for feedback channel where you can literally ask anything for feedback anonymously. I think this would be pretty helpful for me, and I'm really excited to see how this community can grow and evolve over time. And for those who want to connect with me personally, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably noticed that I don't post very much there. I most likely will very soon, but essentially I just feel more comfortable sharing my thoughts in a space that's a little more private. So I also created a more exclusive group. You can access it by joining my YouTube membership. There I'll be hosting monthly live stream and sharing weekly audio journal, and you guys can vote for what kind of topic you want to hear more about. The main goal is to connect with you guys better and to have a space where I can be a little more honest and free without having to worry about the algorithm or compete for the attention, and just creating the type of content that I genuinely love. So if you're interested, the link is down below. Definitely feel free to check it out, and I would love to see you guys there. Number 2, you can't control circumstances, but you can control your response. When Frankl was in the camp, basically everything that makes a person who they were, their name, their status, their dignity, was stripped away from them. People were reduced to numbers, their heads were shaved, they were starved, humiliated, and constantly reminded that their lives were disposable. And yet, Frankl noticed something quite astonishing. Even when people had nothing left, when all freedom was taken away from them, there's still one freedom that no one can touch. He calls it the last human freedom, and that's the freedom to choose how to respond. So some prisoners who are desperate and terrified betray others just to survive another day. And there's also others, even when they're starving, would share their last piece of bread. Same situation, same suffering, but completely different choices. And that's when Frankl realized that our circumstances can be taken away from us, but our ability to choose our attitude, to decide who will be in that response, can never be taken away. That realization might sound small, but it's actually one of the most radical ideas in psychology, because it means no matter how powerless you feel, you're never really powerless. You still get to decide what kind of person you'll be, even in the middle of a chaos. And that doesn't mean just think positive. He knew that pain is real, grief is real, trauma is also real. He just believed that within the pain, there's still a sliver of space, a small gap between what happened to you and how you respond to it. And inside that gap, that tiny moment of awareness, lies your freedom. If we were to bring that into modern life, this principle is surprisingly relevant. For example, you may lose your job. You can spiral and be upset about it, or you can pause and treat it like a forced pivot. Or maybe you go through heartbreak. You can either shut down, or you can let it teach you more about yourself and how to love better next time. The thing is, we can't control everything that happened to us, but we can always control who we become in the response. And honestly, that's where real strength comes from. Not from pretending to be unaffected, but from choosing your next step deliberately, even when you're scared or hurting. And every time you do, you prove to yourself that you're not defined by what happens to you. You're defined by how you respond. It's not easy. Sometimes you fail at it. We all do. But the point isn't perfection either. It's remembering that the space for choice is always there, no matter how small. And when you start living from that space, from response instead of reaction, you start to feel something deeper than happiness. You start to feel strength. Not the kind of strength that comes from control, but the kind that comes from freedom. Number 3, meaning is discovered, not invented. I like this one a lot. So there's this moment Frankl wrote about, one that really captured the heart of this whole philosophy. In the camps, there are prisoners that will come up to him and ask, "What's the point? Why keep going when there's absolutely nothing left?" And that question haunted him, because on the surface, they were right. Everything had been taken away from them: their homes, their family, their loved ones, their freedom, their dignity, and there's no guarantee whether or not they will survive. But one day, something shifted for him. Instead of trying to answer their question, which is, what's the meaning of life, Frankl flipped it over. What if it's not us asking the question? What if it's life asking of us? And that's when it clicked for him, that meaning isn't something we invent. It's something we discover through how we respond to the moment we're in. Even in the camps, life was still asking something of people. For one, maybe it was to comfort someone who was suffering, or maybe it's to endure with dignity, or maybe it's just to bear witness so that the world would know what really happened here. Meaning wasn't something big, grand, life purpose. It was situational. It was personal, changing moment to moment. When I first heard the idea, it really stuck with me, because I feel like many of us, well, me included, spend years thinking and asking, what's my purpose? What's the purpose and meaning of my life? And it's almost like we're waiting for the universe to give us that clear answer. Frankl would say that you don't find meaning just by thinking about it. You find it by responding to what's right in front of you, no matter how small. And if we bring that into our world today, meaning might look like taking care of your aging parent, or working a job that isn't glamorous, or provides for your family, or working on a project that maybe no one will ever notice, but you know that it's improving your skills and shaping who you're becoming. Sometimes meaning isn't a lightning bolt. It's a whisper. It's that subtle feeling that says, this matters, keep going. The beautiful part is that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know your 5-year plan or your perfect calling. You just need to respond faithfully to what's there in this moment. When you're lost, don't ask, what's my purpose? Ask, what's life asking me to do right now? Because meaning isn't something we wait for, it's something we build through responsibility, through love, through the way we carry what's in front of us. And that's the paradox that Frankl leaves us with, that the more you chase meaning, the harder it is to find. But the moment you stop trying to invent it and start responding to life as it is, meaning starts to reveal itself. Not all at once, but piece by piece, moment by moment. 4. The 3 doors to meaning. So we talked a lot about meanings, but how do we find them? Where are they? And Frankl realized that no matter how dark life got, people could still find meaning. But it always came through one of these 3 doors: creation, love, and suffering. So door number 1, creation, is what you give to the world. So before Frankl was arrested, he had written a manuscript, years of his research and ideas about human psychology. And when he was taken away to Auschwitz, that was destroyed and taken away from him. But even in the camp, he imagined rewriting it word by word after the war, rebuilding what was lost. And that hope gave his suffering direction. And that's when he realized creating something meaningful can hold you through despair. Not because the work itself saves you, but because the act of creating and of building something good into existence reminds you that you still have agency. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be a song, a drawing, a home-cooked meal, a message that makes someone feel better. And that's how you build meaning through creation, one tiny offering at a time. And door 2 is love, what you give to others. When Frankl was in prison, he didn't know of his wife till he was alive, but he kept picturing her face and replaying the conversation they had in his head. And he wrote this in his book. Love goes very far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his or her spiritual being. Even in a concentration camp, surrounded by death, love gave him something indestructible. And that's the second door to meaning. Not just romantic love, but the kind that expands your field of concern. It's what makes us step outside of ourselves, to care for a friend, to comfort a stranger, forgive someone who hurt us. And the thing about love is that it's built entirely out of small moments. You don't feel love, you practice it. It's showing up, listening when it's inconvenient, being kind when no one will know, choosing empathy when it might be easier to judge. Each of those tiny acts is a seed of meaning. They don't fix the world, but they remind you that your presence in it still matters. And door 3, suffering. This is how you carry what you can't change. Because sometimes there's nothing left to do but suffer. And that's what Frankl saw too, that even when everything is taken, even when there's no other way to change your reality, there's still one kind of freedom left: how you respond to bear it. He saw prisoners who were dying still choose to comfort others and still choose to share their food. It's that kind of courage that proves that even pain can hold meaning. And I think that's something that we forget today. We're taught to avoid pain, but sometimes pain can't be fixed. And when you can't escape from it, the question changes. It becomes, how do I carry this in a way that honors who I want to be? And together, all these 3 doors, creation, love, suffering, form this full circle of meaning. Number 5, purpose evolves with life. We know that Frankl's story didn't end in the camp. He survived. And when he finally walked out, the world he returned to was nothing like before. His family was gone, his wife was gone. Imagine that, surviving the worst thing ever and then realizing that there's no before to return to. He could have fallen into despair, but instead he devoted himself into rebuilding his work, to teaching what he had learned about suffering and meaning. And what's powerful about this is his purpose didn't stay the same. It evolved. In the camps, in the beginning, his why was to reunite with his family again. But then as time goes on, it seems less and less possible. And then that why evolved. It became to survive long enough to tell the stories. And then later it turned into helping others find meaning through their own pain. Each season of his life called for a different answer. And that's something most of us forget. That purpose isn't one big revelation that we find and protect forever. It's something you rediscover again and again as life changes. You're someone who's constantly growing and responding to new questions. In your 20s, maybe meanings come from exploration, learning who you are, trying new paths, feeling forward. In your 30s and 40s, maybe it shifts to building, relationship, family, stability. And later in life, it might become about giving back, mentoring, passing down what you've learned. And then later down in life, maybe it would just be taking better care of your health. There's no hierarchy between these seasons. Each one is life asking of you a different kind of question, and you answering with who you become. The problem is we often cling to old meaning long after it's expired. We keep trying to make an old version of ourselves to fit into a new season of life. And that's where so much of our confusion comes from. You can feel it when your old why stop working. The things that used to excite you start to feel empty. And the achievement that once felt validating that now just feel heavy. And that's not failure, it's feedback. Frankl used to say that meaning isn't something you chase, it's something you respond to. And the response will always depend on where you are. And time, and growth, and awareness. So maybe instead of obsessing over what's my purpose in life, we could start asking smaller and living questions like, what gives me meaning right now? And maybe that's the real takeaway from Frankl's life, that purpose isn't something that lives out there, waiting for you to find it. It's in here, it lives in you, changing as you do. It's something more human, more fluid. Meaning evolves, you evolve. And that's not a sign that you're lost, it's a sign that you're living. Because life isn't about figuring it all at once. It's about learning how to keep responding with openness, with courage, and with care to whatever life is asking of you next. And if you can do that, you will never really be without meaning, no matter where you are, no matter what season you're in. Have you ever pondered on the meaning of life? I used to think about that a lot, especially when days are slow, when life feels heavy, or when the things and the people I love slip away. But I think I'm starting to understand better now that even in those moments, there can still be meaning. Because meaning isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you build through the choices you make, the walks you take, the people, the things you love, and the weight and the pain you're willing to carry. As Viktor Frankl often refers to Nietzsche's words, he who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. And perhaps that's what it really means to live, to find your why and to keep walking, even when things get hard. And that's what gives life depth, and perhaps the true path to happiness. I think it's liberating to know that the meaning of life isn't out there somewhere waiting. It's here, in the quiet moments, in the things you choose to care about, and the love that keeps you going. And perhaps that's all we can do to give our days a little more meaning. And in doing so, give our life its shape. And I think because of that, we can look forward to tomorrow and focus on today with the weight of yesterday. The joy, the sorrow, and the pain. And I think this is it. The meaning of life is to give life meaning.